Good morning, everyone. I know what you're thinking, that I'm Johnny Bravo, but I'm not. I'm Anthony Johnston. Well, I've got the guns, the hair, and my Diet Coke. I want to start off with a prayer, though. Thank God for the 1A personal finance class that I teach every day. They're the best class I'll ever teach in my whole life. Amen. Without further ado, Mr. Pog, please take it away.
Thank you, Tony. That was quite the introduction. Residents in the nation's northeast flocked to hardware and grocery stores to pick up emergency supplies Sunday as forecasters warned that a crippling and a potentially historic blizzard could dump as much as 3 feet of snow in Philadelphia straight to Boston starting Monday. Tens of millions of Americans live in the path of Winter Storm Juno, expected to hit New Jersey, New York City, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts very hard. Thousands of city employees were bracing for one of the top 2 or 3 largest storms in the history of these cities. Up to 4 inches of snow could fall per hour in some of these areas, with gust winds expected to reach 65 miles per hour. Governors and mayors across regions called for residents to watch the forecast, stock up on supplies, and check on elderly and disabled neighbors who could especially be vulnerable. New York Governor Cuomo warned travelers to brace for transit delays on Mondays and Tuesdays, and said that the Port Authority would have cots on hand for stranded passengers. The major concern is power outages. We have a lot of above-ground lines with heavy snow and 70 mph wind speed. There's risk of wires being severed and things coming off, buildings, everything coming down. 142 police officers had doubled their shifts from 8 hours to 16 hours to increase manpower during the storm. And although storms can be very unpredictable, this storm has the potential to have a significant impact on the states that it's about to cross, and we need to be extremely prepared. Workers prepared 700 pieces of snow removal equipment so far, 35 tons of salt. So to all, we urge you, do not go outdoors if you don't have to. You should not be out in the storm. City crews already have 6,000 miles of streets to clear, and every traffic will be delayed from street to air to port. This could be a storm, the likes of which we've never seen before. Be careful, stay safe.
Good morning, JD students. Today I'm going to be talking to you about Tim Cook. Who is Tim Cook? The answer is he's the CEO of Apple. Last month he announced that he's gay. Well, now you're wondering, why do I care that he is gay? Apparently, after Tim Cook came out of the closet, tech companies will be able to help change the mind of people against gay rights all around the world. They'll be able to show them that it does not matter what sexuality you are, we can all be successful. According to gay rights activist Chris Sinton, tech companies are some of the richest and most powerful companies in the world. With Cook's announcement, they have a new opportunity to push for gay rights everywhere. These companies may be able to influence changes in places like Pakistan and Russia. So after his announcement, because tech products are quite popular in both countries, those companies might be able to have an influence. They may be able to change the attitude toward gays. Taking its fight for gay rights overseas, it's a natural next step for tech community. Many tech businesses have a very open-minded attitude toward gays and lesbians. This is partly because many of their workers are highly educated young people. Many tech communities, including Google and Apple, are celebrated for treating gay workers well. Gay people in tech feel less of a need to hide who they are compared to people in many other industries. Many feel comfortable telling their coworkers they're gay. Tech companies have supported gay rights more strongly than most other kinds of companies. Apple, for example, marches in an annual San Francisco Pride Parade, which celebrates the gay community. Google has its own legalized love campaign. The goal of that effort is to promote gay rights in countries where homosexuality is against the law. So I guess now we can say that tech companies are very diverse. Well, not yet. There's plenty of work to be done before they can be considered truly fair. Tech companies.
President Barack Obama on Tuesday promised more than $33 billion in public and private investments in Africa. The The United States, he said, wants to deliver business and development to a rapidly booming continent where China already has a massive presence. Countries like China have held similar events for years as they've sought to access African markets for oil and other natural resources. The United States, however, wants a different kind of relationship, Obama insisted. We don't look to Africa simply for its natural resources. We recognize Africa for its greatest resource, which is its people and its talent and their potential. We don't simply want to extract minerals from the ground for our growth. We want to build genuine partnerships that create jobs and opportunity for all our peoples and that unleash the next era of African growth. That's the kind of partnership America offers. President Barack Obama told the gathering of African leaders and business leaders from the United States and Africa. Obama didn't mention any foreign competition. China, however, has been criticized for seeking access to markets in order to purchase raw materials and sell its manufactured goods. Obama announced a $7 billion program to promote U.S. exports to and investments in Africa under the Doing Business in Africa campaign. U.S. companies have also announced new deals in energy, aviation, banking, and construction worth more than $14 billion US. The president also announced more than $12 billion US in new commitments for his Power Africa program. Its goal is to increase access to electricity to more than 600 million people across the continent. The attention to Africa included a dinner at the White House late Tuesday night, hosted by President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. Singer Lionel Richie was a guest performer.
The U.S. approach to business in Africa is almost the opposite of the Chinese approach, said Whitney Chinman, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs. He noted that when American companies like Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, or GE invest in Africa, they generally hire and train Africans. Their approach has an incredible ripple effect, and it helps to create skills, it helps to create this middle class. Obama called on Republicans to reauthorize the Imperial Export-Import Bank of the United States, which helps promote American businesses that wants to sell products overseas. His call was echoed by former President Bill Clinton, who called Republican criticism of the government agency ridiculous. But hopefully they will come to a conclusion soon. Back to you, Tony.
Alright folks, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. My kids are the greatest, aren't they? I know they are.